Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of The Week Ahead. Next week may well be one of the most important weeks of the legislature, and in particular, the Joint Standing Committee on Labor, Commerce, Research, and Economic Development. On Wednesday, April 5th, the committee will hold a day-long series of public hearings on bills that impact the minimum wage and the tip credit, both of which were changed as a result of legislation that was passed this last November by the voters. As many of you are aware, it was a three-part question. It raised the minimum wage over time to $12 an hour, it eliminated the tip credit, and it will index the minimum wage on an annual basis after 2020. In the morning on April the 5th, the committee will consider bills that will reinstate the tip credit. Two pieces of legislation, one sponsored by Senator Roger Cates and the other by Representative Stacey Gurrin, would simply reinstate the tip credit into Maine law the way it was prior to the referendum question. The server community in particular has been extremely concerned about this. There is an active and significant grassroots effort that has grown since the repeal of the tip credit in January of this year. Many servers have noticed as much as a 30% drop in their tips since the imposition of the law. As such, there is expected to be a large crowd at the public hearing in the morning on those two bills. In the afternoon, the committee will consider at least a half a dozen other bills that impact the other portions of the minimum wage question. Some of the bills will seek to establish a training wage for workers under the age of 18. Some of the bills seek to reset the state's minimum wage to the average of the New England-wide minimum wage. Some bills seek to simply repeal the law in its entirety and reset the minimum wage to either $7.50 or keep it at $9 an hour. Obviously, there is expected to be significant testimony from both the employer and opponents of any changes to the referendum question led by the Maine People's Alliance. The Maine State Chamber of Commerce is very supportive of the reinstatement of the tip credit, and we have worked hard with the Maine Restaurant Association on this legislation. We will be there that day, and we will be providing the committee with our thoughts on both of those bills. If you are a concerned employer about their tip credit or any other element of the minimum wage and how it will impact your business on your employees, you should consider coming to the State House next Wednesday and providing the committee with your testimony. If you can't be there, however, you should consider emailing members of the committee with a letter outlining your concerns. In addition, we're expecting work sessions in the weeks ahead. These will be particularly contentious and controversial pieces of legislation. However, the reinstatement of the tip credit contains bipartisan support, which will have a significant impact on the bill's chances once it reaches the full legislature and the consideration of the House and the Senate. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon, and please join us next week for another edition of The Week Ahead.